today landed on talking about how to introduce a new dog or a cat in your household, because this is something I get quite a few questions about, and I've done it many times myself. A lot of times, really, because now I have Wilma, my Basset, because my two other dogs recently passed just before Christmas. So I have one dog now, but for the past, since 2002, I've had between 3 and 8 dogs, always. And I've been taking into my home rehomed dogs. That's how we kind of say it in Norway. We don't have any shelters as such in Norway. We have privately rehoming companies or places, but they're very small ones. There are no shelters as such as you can find in a lot of other countries. So mostly when people can't have their dog anymore, they put an ad somewhere online or in the newspaper or something, or you hear about it via your friends or something. So that's how we do it in Norway. And I've been taking in to my home various dogs, different breeds, different ages, and for different reasons, but mostly because they had some kind of problem behavior. That's why the owner couldn't have it anymore, either because it didn't go well with the other dogs in the house or the other animals or the owner even. So I've been doing that quite a lot. I've also introduced a couple of puppies to the other dogs that I had. And I have, again, only have one now, but we used to have 5 cats. They were rehomed cats. I did not look for cats. I wasn't planning to have any cats, actually, but I ended up with 5, 5 cats. I've taken some notes about what is important to talk about tonight when we are talking about taking in a new dog or even a cat to your home, and you have a dog or a cat or both. And the number one thing you should think about is patience. Patience is the most important word, I think. Patience to allow the dog and the dogs, the animals, to adjust to a new situation. Very often we are in a rush. We are maybe a little bit nervous even. We are hoping that they will become best of friends, and these things is not happening overnight usually. Sometimes it does, like with us humans, but please think about this. If you are bringing a new dog into your home, consider that dog's what was I going to say? The feelings, whatever it has when you are taking the dog home. If it's a puppy, if it's a new puppy that has not been rehomed, but it's moving for the first time in his life, it's huge things going on. She are leaving their mother and their siblings and everything that is known to them. And then they're being introduced not only to your dog or cats or both, and yourself and your family, but to everything. Thousands of smells, thousands of new things to get used to, the environment in total, like as a whole. Very, very, very important to make sure that the dog can get used to its new environment in its own pace. And very often we want to rush this because we are impatient and we want things to go quickly, and we are maybe a bit excited about everything. So we start talking to the dog or the dogs telling them what to do. And I strongly advise not to do that, because the more we talk and the more we tell them to do, the more stress can be, the animals can get more stressed. They don't have to, but being told what to do. For example, walking around the house, let me show you your new bed, here's your bed. And then you go and pet, touch the bed and say, hey, this is your bed, come and lay down. Here is your water bowl, here's your food, blah, 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 blah. We want to do this because we're doing it out of kindness. We don't want, we're not doing it out of anything else, of course. But this is how I did it. When I introduced a new dog, whether if it was a puppy, mostly I've been doing that to adult dogs or adolescent dogs or even senior dogs, and a couple of times, 2 times with puppies. A puppy cannot go for a long walk. So a puppy I would take home and I would let them sniff. I had several dogs at home. So I always let one by one meet the puppy. Same thing with this doesn't matter about the age, okay? The only difference here is that with other dogs, with grown-up dogs, or dogs that were older than a puppy that could go for a walk, I would prefer to take them for a walk. The first point, the first time they meet, they're actually meeting during a walk in a neutral place, so it's not your home, not your house or the other dog's house, but somewhere in between. Could be just outside your house, but they're not meeting inside a small room or an apartment or a small house. I don't have a big house, so that could be chaos because everyone wants to greet and everyone is very curious. So to go for a walk is always, I think, the best way of introducing one dog to one or several other dogs. So if that is possible for you to arrange that your partner comes with the other dog and you go for a walk somewhere, preferably off leash. That is this is the best way of doing it. It's off leash. Then in the woods or on the beach or somewhere where you can be off leash, where there's not a lot of other people or dogs, okay? And you don't have to go for a long walk. This is also what I do if I have friends coming over that have a dog. We always meet for a little walk, and the walk can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Does not have to be a long walk. But when you're moving and when you're doing something, it's much easier to introduce them. Yeah. So the ideal is to take the dog you have, and someone would take the dog your dog, your old dog, and then you come with your new dog, and then you go for a walk, preferably off leash. If you can't be off leash, then of course long leashes and nice sniffing walks. You do not have to start giving them a lot of treats or anything, or treats at all. I actually never ever use treats in these situations, because if you go somewhere else for a walk, there's a lot of things to sniff. So, and you don't need to try to trick them or lure them into liking each other. If you do this now, you will get a treat. So dogs are curious by nature, and we want them to use that, and they do. So if they don't really, if they seem like they are ignoring each other a bit, that's not bad. That's a good thing. That's nice behavior, I would say. That don't expect them to start playing like crazy or anything. That's not the sign that they are the best friends. It could be signs of other things, of stress, for example. So do not expect or push them into playing or something. just go for a nice, short sniffing walk together. And then you can go home to your house and you can let your dogs off leash. Now, you have to consider both dogs. Let's say you have 2 dogs now. So you have the dog that already lived with you. Don't forget that this dog is now getting a new roommate that they have to get used to too. It's not only the new dog that has to get used to a new home, but your dog has to get used to his new roommate as well. I would have my other dogs outside in the garden and let the new one explore the new home inside alone before I let the other dogs in. This is after we've have met. It's after they met. So, and that is something you have to do always, whether you have a dog or you don't have a dog. When you take a new dog home, let them explore the house in their own pace. Do not rush them. So the best thing is to actually go and sit down in your kitchen or something and let your dog take its time to sniff and get familiar with the environment. This is a very enriched environment. I talk about enriched environments a lot. So this is a very enriched environment. So again, patience. Patience is the key word. If you cannot go for a walk with them, then preferably, again, meet one by one. So if you have 2 dogs or even several dogs, take one dog at the time to greet the new one. And again, patience. Let them find out, when I had a collie, a rough collie. He's still alive and well. He's living with my ex-husband. We had 5 other dogs, but we were lucky. I had a very big garden, fence garden. So we let the old dogs that were all already living there out in the garden one by one. You don't have to take the dogs inside again, but introduce them one by one. So the one dog is out greeting or getting to know the new dog, and then you can let the other dog out and so on. I think, and I really believe, that this is a very good investment in time. If you do this right, you get a nice, calm introduction to the other dogs. That is a good investment for the rest of their social life being together, how they got to know each other. You are avoiding, I think, quite a few, problems if you do this right. It's not to say that if something goes wrong in the introduction that you can't fix it afterwards, but you should really, really pay attention to that and do it as best as you can. So it goes very quickly, they are very social animals, and once they sniffed and introduced themselves to each other, then you go on with your life and help the new dog getting into your new or his new routines. And again, patience. So I think the same thing goes as if you take a puppy for the first time, even if you don't have a dog at home. The same rules apply in my household when I have a new dog, is to not have a lot of guests the first week, but to just do nice, calm activities like walking, going for nice walks, explore things, and just relaxing, getting to know each other. And as I said, I think the most problem, or the most common reasons for people that thinks that this is difficult is that they are doing too much in these situations. They themselves are not relaxed. So they go around talking to the dogs, no, leave it, go and lay there, stay calm, do this, do that, you know, or don't do that. If you sit down outside on your balcony or terrace or in your kitchen on a chair, you can sit and observe, you can take pictures, you know, it's really nice to observe all this. For your own sake as well, I think you should observe it and keep your mouth shut. If your dogs approach you, of course you can give them attention and so on, but don't tell them to play, don't tell them to do certain things. And if there are situations where the dogs are not really sure about each other and one dog is getting a bit stiff, you know, it's like, oh, what's going on here? Then get up and walk, do something else. Take your dogs out for a nice walk again, or you go and sit in another room. I find that going for walks is one of the best ways of, how can I say, getting to know each other. Yeah, so I do a lot of, I did when I introduced, when I had a lot of dogs, I did do more walks, but short walks. I'm not talking about long walks. I'm not talking about treat search or all that thing, just going for nice short walks. If you can have them off leash, it's always the best. Okay, does that make sense? So about cats, yes, cats and dogs can live together in peace and harmony, but sometimes they don't like each other very much. It depends on the individuals. They have a little bit of a different body language, but they are perfectly able to communicate. The important thing with the cats is to make sure they have exits, places to go to when the dog is coming after them, if the dog is coming after them, places to escape, to go outside, or high places to jump. Cats like to be in high places. And of course, you need to put the water and food for the cat in places the dog is not reaching. Okay? That is very important. Even sleeping places. When we had these 5 dogs, my ex-husband was also a very, very handy man. So he built this shelves just really across the room in one of our rooms where we had a door that we could put, I don't know a cat door, probably that's what it's called in English, so that the cats could easily go in and out. I find that controlling and managing the environment with cat doors, with exits, even with fences, whatever, is perfect. It's very, very important. I should have a picture of this now, but I don't. But when we got 3 kittens from the what you call it, like the official welfare department in Norway, I don't know what it's called, but they asked if we could take these 3 kittens. So they were not used to dogs at all, and the dogs were not used to cats. So what we did was because we were able to in that house, we had a cat door in the room, in one of the rooms, and then we took out the door to the room, actually. Took it out and replaced it with a door that my ex-husband made, which was with see-through fence. I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well. I hope you can understand. But it was a fence, so they could see and they could smell, but they didn't necessarily have to, they couldn't go into the room. So my dogs could not go into the room. They could go outside in the garden and meet the cats in the garden, but the cats were able to go into that room through the cat door and stay in a room and feel safe there where the dogs were not there. And after a while, we removed or we opened that door that already had this fence, the see-through fence, so that the dogs could also come into the room. And I think it's quite a while ago now, but I think we opened the door after about 2 or 3 weeks. So that's why I'm saying you need to be patient. But cats can actually hurt dogs with their, with their nails, and cats are small tigers. So a lot of dogs have respect for cats, of course, and they should. But as long as your cat is able to go out of the situation when it feels threatened by the dog, then you're doing good. So keep places or have shelves, manage the environment so you can actually have a safe environment for the dogs and for the cats. Cats are not that social, with each other. So cats, yeah, that's another story. I'm not going to have a live about cats. I'm not a cat expert, but I had the experience. So to sum up, patience is one of the most important things you can have when you're introducing animals, dogs and cats, to each other, and manage the environment with the cats so that everyone feels safe, the dog and the cat has a way to get out of the situation, to escape, to jump up high or to go outside, or preferably, of course, both. Don't leave the cat food on your table or even on the floor and expect the dog not to eat it, because that's just not going to happen. They will eat it. And for some reason, my dogs, they love the cat food more than their own food. So don't expect that to happen. So you need to put it up high where the dogs can't find it. And don't give a lot of commands to the cats or to the dogs or anything. Just let them sort these things out themselves. They are perfectly able to do that. And read the book on talking terms with dogs so you can learn more about how dogs communicate. Even a little growling to the cats is fine. The cats will understand. They will. And they have to learn, and they will learn how to be around each other. Now, dogs can accept and even be very good friends with cats in their own home, but can still chase other cats when they're out on a walk. This is normal. That's what I want to say. This is normal behavior. So it does not mean that when your dog are good friends with your cat at home, that your dog will love all other cats. No. And I could see that very well with my own dogs and cats, because some of the cats would always come walking with us. When we went for a walk, the cats would follow. And sometimes the cats didn't want to walk with us, so they waited at home somewhere nearby the house, and then they would join us for the last part of the walk. And it was very clear, and I thought it was very interesting to see how my dogs were reacting, because the cat would typically stand somewhere in front of us, and the dogs reacted very different when they realized it was a cat they know. Then they didn't pull the leash or anything. They were actually happy to see the cats, and the cat would, come to us and walk with us. So it's a difference there, and it's normal. So if you have a problem with your dog chasing cats when you're walking your dog, you have to manage that in a different way. You have to train your dog for a good recall. You have to make sure it's on a leash. If it's a problem, you can't let them chase the cats. It's not fair for the dog or the cats, and stay away from them. I remember once, a couple of years ago, I was walking with 3 dogs on leash down the road from where I live. And I was so sure it was a brown plastic paper bag laying next to the road. I saw it, and I was really sure it was a brown paper bag. But of course, I realized when we were too close that it was a cat. So then my dogs reacted and pulled, because they wanted to then chase the cat. So if you know that's a problem, you have to do what you have to do when you're out walking your dog. You have to have a good recall, and also the attention sound makes it so much easier to change direction and to avoid chasing of cats. And I know that cats can come out of anywhere suddenly, and this happens. That's life. So we have to handle that situation there and then by holding your dog so it's not allowed to chase cats. Okay, so I hope I managed to give you some tips, or at least share my own experience. The thing is that when I have patience and when I let them, my dogs, get to know the new dog in calm environments, then it's not been a problem. They really manage to sort these things out themselves. And they're very sociable animals. But I also think it's extremely valuable to have a good knowledge about how they communicate. That's why I go on and on about reading on talking terms with dogs, or go to a course, or have someone explain to you how they're communicating, because it makes you more relaxed. It makes you less nervous about these things when you have that knowledge. Take care of yourself and your dogs and cats, of course. Bye.